So we're going to build this with Flexbox and add in a media query so that the menu switches. And we'll have two containers, and each container, and a container holding those two containers. So let's try it out. See what we can do. Pressure's on. 017 flex media query, and we're working at GitHub. Goes to 11 is my repo on GitHub. Go to repositories, go to HTML CSS Bootcamp, and you could also find the outline for the course that we're doing right here. So there's the outline to the course. And the last thing I'll share with you is follow me on Twitter, because I'm always tweeting about front-end and back-end web development, among other things. So check that out. All right, so let's build it. So we need a HTML page. And then we're going to need a main. And then we're going to need another CSS, and it'll be a media query 600 plus. And so you should always build mobile first. And there used to be a saying, mobile first. People are really into it. Seems like the web's died. Taco shop. Like, people used to be super enthusiastic about the web. Now it's just another routine. So there's our main. And then we're going to have another one, and this one will be the media query. And we'll have media min width 600 pixels. So 600 pixels plus, that'll kick in. And then we're going to have a couple of containers here. So I'll do main. This will be the main page. And if I guess I'll just leave it like that. And then over here, I want to create a flex container. Main display flex direction row flex wrap, no wrap. And we're going to have two items in here. One will be a nav, and the nav will have a unordered list, and then an li, and it'll have just like 5 elements in it. And we could put content in those elements of just $signs, so we know what it is. And we'll have a nav, and then we'll also have would it be a section? A section can't stand on its own. An article can stand on its own. Articles have sections. Sections can have articles. Generally speaking, a section and an article have headings. Section, MDN. And just look for heading here. Typically with a heading, an article, MDN. Look for heading here. Typically including a heading. So what do you all think about using semantic HTML? Should I even have main? Is this the main content of this page? Probably, if this is a restaurant and this is like the menu page, right? This is probably the main stuff on that page. We might have more stuff down beneath it. So I feel pretty comfortable saying this is the main stuff on the page. Should nav be inside main, right? We also have the heading. Like, what is main? So we're partly just exploring how do we do semantic HTML, and finally, main represents the main content of the body of a document or application. The main content area consists of content that is directly related to or expands upon the central topic of a document. And it could permitted content's flow content. And so flow content can be in there, and flow content includes figure footer, H1, header, H group. So we could put our header in there. And the header stuff, we have head, then we have header, and then we have headings, right? So we could include a header in main, and then inside that we could have our navigation, right? Like, that's one way to think about it. Another way we could think about it would be we could put everything in a div and have the main be this area, because that's really the header and the nav. Though over here it's not a header so much, right? On a document, it's more like a sidebar. So just trying to think about this. So I think nav really fits for this. I don't know if header I think of as at the top, the head of a document, so it's not really something on the side. And this one, you know, could that just be, you know, an article? An article can stand on its own. Can that stand on its own if I have, like, you know, the different items on the menu, and, you know, if it's just a menu blowing down the street and you don't know for what restaurant or whatever, it's like missing stuff. It's like, ooh, this looks good. Where'd it come from? I don't know.
Yeah.
The footer's not there. So would it be a section, right? And it says don't use a section for, you know, a section represents standalone section of functionality contained within HTML, typically with a heading, which doesn't have a more specific semantic element to represent it. Navigation menu should be wrapped in nav element, but a list of search results in a map display and its controls don't have specific elements and can be put inside a section. So I think section's okay for that. Some usage notes should be identified, typically including a heading. Makes no sense to separately syndicate the content, so it doesn't mean it stands on its own. Use article when it stands on its own. That's what syndicate means. Do not use the section element as generic container. This is what div is for, especially when the sectioning is only for styling. A rule of thumb is that a section should logically appear in the outline of a document. So I think that this is okay, right? Like this is the menu section. So I kind of like section there. You have some thoughts there, Nathan?
No.
Oh, just stretching. All right, so I like that. All right. And then for mobile, on mobile I want to have a mobile view on this, which is kind of like that. So I want to have mobile. And I think I'll change these. I'll make this home. And we'll make this taco menu, and we'll make this draft list hours, draft list hours, and contact, you know, or about locations. Home, menu, beers, hours, locations. So I'm liking that. And we want that to be up on top. So my flex direction, I'm going to change that to column. And so now I have, this is a flex item, and that's a flex item. And this will be up here, and that will be down there. And then I could just put some lorem ipsum in there. So paragraph, I'll do a heading, and welcome, taco, I want to say Calibre Fiesta. That sounds like some all-you-can-eat buffet. Taco Calibre. I don't know what Calibre means.
Caliber. Guessing. If it's a thing at all.
Taco Mucho Grande Caliber. No? I kind of liked it. And so we could have some of that. And then maybe H2s. Okay, so flex direction column. We need to do our UL. Display flex direction row. And flex wrap, flu wrap, that's different. It's going to be wrap. So flex wrap, and that should make all those go away. And we also want to do our text decoration. None would be for the underline, and for, I always forget this one, CSS, remove bullet. and it's list style none. There we go. So let's see what it looks like. It's pretty good. We could do some borders. We have some borders around that. So we could do a border around our nav. And we could do that around the section too. Maybe make that stand off a little bit more. Stick with that. Cool, I like it. And we could add some padding to the section. Bring it in a little, and we could add some padding to our LIs. And we can make all those anchor tags if we want. Just trying to get it to select. Ay, caramba. And we could do our anchor tag. And padding 5 pixels. Let's put a border around it for a second. And we could do margin 5 pixels and border radius 20 pixels. And that's cool. And then the anchor, we want to have something similar. And we could put that on and make it hot pink so we can see where that is. We want to line up. So you can see there's that part, and then there it's not. So why is it getting pushed out? Because the anchor has margin maybe. So that brought it in a little bit, and the anchor has padding. And the anchor is just around the word, so we actually want to push that out. And so we're going to put this padding back on. We're going to take this padding off. So that got a little bit closer. But we need the black one, which is this one, to come out. So if we put that one back on, how do we get that part right there?
Take the margin off of the line items.
Take the margin off of LI?
Yeah. No.
Must be on the outside. So the anchor has padding, which pushes that out, and the padding is equal to the same as the LI. And maybe the anchor needs to be, I don't know, just an idea, kind of interesting. And then the margin on the outside of the anchor is off. And then we have padding on the outside of the LI. So if that's the LI, then that should have padding, which is popping it out. There we go. So it needed that to be display inline block instead of inline. And that might make us want to just come up here and do a little reset. So we have HTML, body, main, nav, UL, LI, A, section, H1, and P, and H2. And we could say on all those, padding is 0, and border is 0, and border box sizing, border box, margin, no margin, but those guys all are zeroed out. Anything else we said on that, the reset? Let's look at it. So that kind of shifted it over to the left. And so we want to center those. So if those are inside our nav, our UL, our nav is the thing in main, and so we want our nav flex direction, justify content, center. Right? Main should take nav and section and center those, but it's column, so it's a line item center because we need cross axes, line items center. And now that one container at the top isn't the right width, you know? So if we wanted to have that border a certain width, that's the turquoise that's around the nav, the deep sky blue around the nav. And the nav and the other one is the section. And so the nav, we could just say width, 100 viewport width. And then we could also do the same on the section. And then we could add to the main a little padding. And that will push everything in since we have box sizing border box. That was the theory. I think maybe the 100 viewport width is overriding it. So if we were down here, let's just curious padding 10 pixels. No, doesn't do anything. Margin 10 pixels. Doesn't do anything. Anybody have ideas? We could do 95. A little heavy on the right, so we want to make sure, or on the left, want to make sure main is centered. So main is inside body. And for body, we want to center content. So body and now my menu items, I want those to be centered again. So home is right there, and those are that's my nav, and so my nav is in main and align item center. That should be doing it, right? So we could drop a border around nav. Oh, there's our nav, and we made that width. So if we take that off, then it's centered. See that? So the nav also has a UL in it. How many people find this interesting and instructive? It's not a waste of your time? Good. All right, cool. And And then I'm going to want a cool little hover effect. So I could convert that to 78.187.228. What's the HSLA? HSLA 196. I'll go RGBA 79.188.227. 79.188.227.5 RGBA.
Is there supposed to be 2 dots there before 5?
That's a comma and then a dot, dot. Yeah, that works. So now I have that, and I could do a slightly different color. Like maybe that will be the background color there, and then I could do this one as like 0.8. And I could clean up those borders on that anchor. Get that border out of there. I guess we'll just leave that one and make it black. And the other border, the LI, we don't want that. And then on that anchor, maybe adjust the padding. And we could do top and bottom, 5 pixels. Left and right, 20. And then bring this down to 10. I like that. So that's on mobile or iPad. And then somewhere around 600 pixels. Right? We could shift it. And we could see what this looks like on mobile by clicking the little mobile deal right there. And we could say we want to see an iPhone 5. And we want to see an iPhone 6. We want to see an iPad. That's 768. We want to see a Nexus 5. That's 412. 412. 6. I'd probably make those buttons bigger. All right, like if that's your phone, you want bigger buttons. And so each of these LIs, width, I can make it 20 viewport width. There's 5 of them, so I'll actually go with 17. And let's see what that does. Okay. That's kind of interesting. Viewport width really changes things. Maybe make a font size on that. Oh, we'll leave it. I'm not going to split hairs on that. Okay, so there's our mobile view. And now we need to add in our media query. So at 600 plus. So at 600 plus, we want this menu to go to the side, over on the left. And so for this to be side by side, the nav next to the section, we need to change main as the container. So we need to change main. And right now it's got flex direction column, flex direction row. And then anything else there? Line items center. We'll do align items top, flex start, and justify content center. All right, so we're overriding align items, saying put everything at the top, not the center, because we've switched our axis direction. So if align items was here, that's on the cross axis. The cross axis is horizontal when it's a column. So I'm just going to think about each of these. When it's a row, the primary axis is horizontal, and I want those to be flex start. And I want the other ones to be the items are going to be I don't think I need either of these. We'll do it anyhow, flex start. So I want everything to start in the top left corner. So let's look at it. Perfect. And I need my UL, flex direction row, UL, flex direction column. Cool. I'm way off the page here. So what brought me off the page? Display flex, justify center on the body. And main display flex, margin 10 pixels. So we can just take that off. Until we see what's happening. And UL, flex wrap none for the UL. And we want the UL to now be a column. UL flex direction column. So that's good. An LI, an anchor. Anchors display inline block. So that LI is going vertical. So we could do width 95 VW. Takes up the whole width. Body display flex, justify content center. So that takes everything, takes this, the main, and puts it in the center of the page. I don't think that does anything. Let's bring this back to mobile and take a look. So that's gone. Just looking to make sure that's connected. And then let's bring all this over. We'll just look through it. All right, so it's still display flex, so we don't need that. And we go flex direction row, which on main is going to put this side to that. And then basically here we want the nav to be a certain width percentage. And flex start, flex. And we'll take those out and see if they do anything. Take that out too. And let's do the nav width 20%. So that's better. Right? Made the nav width 20%. And now the nav is still a row wrap. So nav, we had justify content center display flex. So that's a row. So we could do nav flex direction column. So now I've made that UL, and then we need the UL to be a column. So that's a flex direction row. So we could take that out and do UL flex direction column. Cool. And we could do the width to always be. Wonder if we need a width there. Yeah, otherwise it just wants to split it up. And this isn't at the top. So to get that at the top, we could do,
Line items, flex start.
yeah, which one is that going into though? That's inside main.
Yeah.
So line items flex start, because it's a row, so there we go, perfect. And then to get those borders to look nice, we could set the border here. So there we have the border around that. We could take the border off of a nav. So there's a start. Let's see your solutions.